Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Parade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu Me Sada Om Shri Matre Namaha. So we start with verse number 93. So you will see that slowly the Acharya's direction is slowly changing, and it is moving from Shakti to Shiva and to the union of both of them. So let us first do the shloka, then I will explain what I am talking about here. I am going to keep trying to do this to see if this works, but however, let us see. So it says shloka. अरालाकेशेषु प्रकृतिसरला मन्दहसिते अरालाकेशेषु प्रकृतिसरला मन्दहसिते शिरीषाभाचित्ते दृशदुपलशोभा कुचतटे शिरीषाभाचित्ते दृशदुपलशोभा कुचतटे अरालाकेशेषु प्रकृतिसरला मन्दहसिते शिरीषाभाचित्ते दृशदुपलशोभा कुचतटे भृशं तन्वी मध्ये पृथिरुरसिजारोह विषये वृषं तन्वी मध्ये पृथिरुरसिजारोह विषये जगत्त्रातुं शम्भोर्जयति करुणा काचिदरुणा भृशं तन्वी मध्ये पृथिरुरसिजारोह विषये जगत्त्रातुं शम्भोर्जयति करुणा काचिदरुणा अराला अरालाकेशेषु प्रकृतिसरला मन्दहसिते शिरीषाभाचित्ते दृशदुपलशोभा कुचतटे वृषं तन्वी मध्ये पृथिरुरसिजारोह विषये जगत्त्रातुं शम्भोर्जयति करुणा काचिदरुणा Arala. Arala means curly. Arala Kesha. Kesha means hair. Arala Kesheshu. Kesheshu, all the hair. Arala Kesheshu. So the Devi has supposed to have curly hair. Prakriti Sarala. Prakriti is nature. So naturally straight. So here again, Sarala means straight, but another contextual meaning will be simple. Manda Hasite, gentle smile. Shirishabha. Abha means glowing. Abha also means like. So Shirish Abha, like the Shirisha flower. Shirisha flower. Shirish, if you have noticed, the Shirisha tree, it has a wide spread and it has pink hair-like flowers. Especially during this time, you will see those flowers. Pink, small flowers which are hair-like. You can see them flowing on the floor. They are very gentle, soft flowers, and they have a very distinct fragrance. So Shirishabha. And why Shirisha? I will talk about that. Chitte, in the mind. Drishada Upala Shobha. Upala means stone. Shobha. Upala Shobha, like a hard stone. Drishada, hard. Drishada Upala Shobha. Kucha Tate. Kucha is the breasts. Tate, at the breasts. Brisham Tanvi. Tanvi, very slender waist. Brisham Tanvi. Madhye, in the middle. Prithu, broad. Urasija Aroha Vishaye. Urasija means in the region of the bosom. In the region of the bosom. Jagat Tratum, Trana, to do is to protect. Jagat Tratum, to protect the world. Shambhoho, of Shiva or for Shiva. Jayati, being victorious. Karuna, compassion. Kachita Aruna, reddish color. Kachita Aruna. So what is he saying? in your hair is curly, your smile is gentle, your heart is soft like the shirisha flower, your bosom, however, is like a heart, it's firm like a stone, you are slender at the waist, full at the breast, and in this there is a victory of the certis, of the reddish compassion of Shiva manifesting to protect the world. Now, anyone wants to attempt to me give the meaning of this? Very interesting shloka. Unmute before you talk. Don't know why this is not working, but anyway, keep trying. Anybody wants to try? You are in verse number 93. By now, you should be already trying to do your own analysis. Okay, so let me try.
The talk is the talk is for creation. That, but beyond that,
Okay. So then verse
it's
9.
the
Go
co-
ahead.
hmm,
Go ahead.
consciousness with that also. But
So this is a difficult verse. So he has no any meaning we want to take out from here will be an indirect meaning. It will be have to be a contextual meaning in terms of the verses numbers 1 to 92. So here he is talking of the actually the descent of consciousness into creation. See, where is he starting from? Starting from Kesha and going towards the bottom, right? Moving downward. Now, we have seen that earlier also, that Devi's descriptions always start from the head and go down. All the other devatas, we start at the feet, we go up. Why? For two reasons. One, when she arose from the Chidagni Kundam, we saw the crown first, then we saw the hair, and so we kept on describing like that in Lalita Sahasranamam as well as in all the Lalita Upakhyanam, all these places, we saw that. Another thing is, see, her feet are the adhara for every devotee. If you have reached the feet, the rest of it is all incidental. So when you start from the feet, then you can't go anywhere else. You can't go anywhere else, right? I think I've told this story earlier. Narasimha Bharati was supposed to have had sakshatkar of Ishvara, and two friends, one of them was a Shaivite, the other was a Vaishnavite. Both of them went to Narasimha Bharati and said, "You have seen Ishvara, so please tell us whether he has Tripundram or Urdhra Tripundram." So Narasimha Bharati smiled at them and said, "I have only seen the feet. When I see the face, I will tell you whether it is horizontal or vertical." So, Ishvara, we try to distinguish, right? Horizontal, vertical, red bindi, all of that is something that we are trying to create in differences. Ishvara is Ishvara. So, here, Ishvara, and so therefore, Acharya is taking this entirety, starting from the hair, and he says the hair is curly. Basically, he's talking of the complexity of Maya. Maya is very complex. We don't understand it. Where does the Maya play? In the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Karmano Gahano Gatihi. The Gati of karma, the movement of karma, the end result of karma, it is very, very complex. It is very deep. And where does karma arise from? It is arising on the play of Maya only. So here also, Acharya, by very simple words, he says, your hair is very curly. But beneath the hair complexity is the gentle, simple smile. So the reality is very simple. Reality is very simple. We layer all types of complexities on it. Now let us take if you have gone to a mall and you have gone to a movie theater in the mall, right? What do they call them? Multiplex. Now in the multiplex, you have a screen. They don't have screen anymore. They have a wall. They have a wall, right? A curved wall, which is, when you look at it, it is plain, simple. There is nothing in it. Indescribable. But when the projection happens, the entire play begins, right? You will have the hero jumping from the 15th floor, catching the heroine who has jumped from the 7th floor, and then floating up. All those dramas will start happening on that substratum called the wall. The wall is very simple. On that, there is a whole amount of complexity that is created by Maya. So here he says that curly hair, Arala, and then he uses it, Sarala. Very beautiful play of words. See, Arala, Sarala, underlying simplicity. Then he says, your heart is very soft, and he compares it to Shirisha Pushpa. Right? He compares it with Shirisha Pushpa. So he says, Shirisha Abha Chitte. Now, Shirisha Pushpa, Charak, Muni Charak, who has written the basic treatise for Ayurveda, he calls Shirisha Pushpa as Visha Dahana Vastu. Visha Dahana Vastu. Or he calls it Vishagna Vastu. Right? Both of the names are given. Any sort of toxicity in your body can be removed through Shirisha flower, according to Ayurveda. When Acharya is comparing with Shirisha flower, he is saying that your heart, the compassion in your heart, can remove the toxicity of our bondage of identification with the body, mind, intellect, just exactly as the Shirisha flower removes the toxicity of any venom in our body. So by using the word Shirishabha, he could have used instead, he could have used lotus, which he has used so many times, right? You could use any other Champaka, he could have used so many other.
I have a question
Yes,
later.
yeah. So all these flowers, they specifically chose the Shirisha Abha. So one is that while the Shirisha flower in its bud, it's very hard. So when we were small, we would collect the buds. They would fall sometimes in a storm or something, and they could be used in pellets. Instead of stones, they would be all equal sized. So you could use them as pellets for a sling, for a slingshot. You could use them and use that in a. So we would take a rubber band, put a paper, put that pellet inside, and shoot it, and it would be the exact size for hitting somebody. And they would be hard, but when it opens, it is soft. It has a beautiful fragrance. And that fragrance removes that toxicity in our body, in our mind, in our intellect. Which fragrance? The fragrance of her karuna, the fragrance of her compassion. Shirishabha. And then, so therefore, he has done a very beautiful comparison. He's saying, while your bosom is soft like the Shirisha flower, it is also Drishadupala Shobha. It is also very firm, which means that the cosmic order, Niyati, is created by you. So while you are Karuna, you are also Niyati, cosmic order. You will not break cosmic order just out of Karuna. And therefore, that verse, Karuna Kachit Aruna, right? It is talking of the active force of creation and protection. Karuna Kachit Aruna. Now, if you are looking at this from a Shiva Shakti meaning, we are seeing Shiva has been continuously, we have defined Shiva as a pure consciousness. Shakti is the manifestation of that power. So, Karuna is the bridge between Nirguna and Saguna. Nirguna and Saguna. Nirguna, Upasana is impossible. Nirguna, you cannot do Upasana. Right? It is formless. It is attributeless. It does not have anything with which you can associate. So how do I associate with you, mother? Oh, you associate because of my karuna.
You have answered my question, Anna.
It is only me who alone gives you that power to reach out to me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's story, beautiful story. Whenever I say this story, I get choked. Jagannath, if you have been to Jagannath Puri, there used to be a stream. That stream has been blocked. Now they have put a pipeline and there is water which is flowing and you cross that water so your feet get washed before you enter into the temple. there used to be a stream during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing in that stream and the water was flowing. And there was this devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His name was Haridas. And he was downstream to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the moment he saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is standing over there in the water, he went downstream and started drinking that water. Charanamrita. Sakshat Mahaprabhu is standing in the water is flowing over his feet. I am drinking the Charanamrita. He was drinking that water. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. Just 1 second. So was very pleased and he said, ask me whatever you want. The moment he said, ask me whatever you want, Haridas said, give me bhakti. Give me bhakti. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed and said, you want me to give you the chains by which you will tie me? And then he laughed and said, okay, take it. See, of the 5 Pandavas, there was the, anybody knows who is the wisest one?
Dharma.
5 Pandavas, who is the wisest?
Sahadeva or Bhima.
Correct. Correct. Sahadev was the wisest. Sahadev had vision of the future. He could look at the past. He could analyze. His problem was that he was not allowed to speak of his wisdom. So he would know what is going to happen in the future. He would know he could predict because of this, but he would not be able to speak anyway. So Sahadev being the wisest, right? Krishna came back from Hastinapur, back to Upaplavya, where the camp outside Virata's capital, they had this camp and came into Yudhishthira's tent. And Krishna described the details of what happened in Hastinapur. And they said they refused to even give 1 needle point of land. He said, I will not give. I asked only for 5 villages. And they said, I will not give you 5. And then Krishna laughed. And he said, they tried to tie me with chains. So Sahadev looked very surprised and said, why they could not tie you? So Krishna looked at him and said, you think it is easy? Sahadev said, of course it is very easy. And he put his index finger on Krishna's thigh and said, blink, try to even blink. And Krishna could not blink because Sahadev's bhakti was so strong that he could tie Krishna down. So that bhakti does not come naturally. It comes with grace from her alone. Her karuna bridges that nirguna to saguna and takes us from saguna to nirguna. We all know ultimately it is the nirguna that is the ultimate reality. Even the saguna is a form and a name and a form which she takes to become accessible to us. That accessibility that she makes herself accessible to us is because of her karuna. Karuna kachitaruna. So, yes, please.
Sorry, that was my question actually, because every time I either chant Lalita or, when I listen to you, when you are describing the verses like Acharya is describing her and we move from the top to the feet, we are still in Maya only. And then how do we move from that Saguna to the whole process, which I was just having this thing happening within me. I think just by describing it like this, you have explained it very clearly.
So thanks to Acharya. Yes, please, Sitaji.
So you mentioned about the movement from the understanding of from Saguna to Nirguna, but why the other way? You meant Nirguna to Saguna, you also mentioned, but why the other way?
So
because I assume that you look at the form and you identify with that and see that as that amsam of Parabrahman, and then you move to the formless. That should be the natural progression.
That is the natural progression for you and me. For her, it is from Nirguna to Saguna, no? For her, it has to be a downward movement. From Nirguna, she is essentially Nirgunati, she is Gunatita.
So which is
And why does she want to
then
take on, why does she take on a form? She takes on a form out of Karuna. She takes that form so that she becomes accessible to us. What do? Oh, we start with that small murti in front of us, or that small meru in front of us. Oh, Devi, I am worshipping you. Nava Avarana Puja Patra Sadhana, Panchadashi Mantra, Sodashi Mantra, Sri Vidya, this Vidya, that Vidya. Then suddenly you move one step forward and you say, oh, okay, this entire body itself is nothing but a construction of the Sri Vidya of the 9 avaranas of the Mahameru. From that body, you see, oh, that same body is in everybody. Therefore, everybody is nothing but a construction of that Mahameru. From that, you see, oh, this entire universe itself is nothing but a construction of the Mahameru. From that, you say, you are everything. But then once you are saying you are everything, you're still in name and form. But from that name and form to jump to anything beyond that requires grace. It cannot happen. You have to let go. And letting go is not easy, because letting go means you have to give up certain things. You have to give up your identity. Right? I use the example of a pole vaulter. The pole vaulter jumps so high. He uses a pole. But just imagine that pole vaulter feels scared and he does not let go the pole. What will happen? He will fall on the same side. He will not cross. He has to let go the pole and use the power of the pole to take him across from that bar. But
in
Could
one of
it
the
also
previous
be, sorry, Akka, you can ask. Oh no, I was just, could it also be that Acharya, after he has, experienced that Nirguna, he is explaining this whole process through Soundarya Lahari so that we can, through Saguna, reach that, which he has already, I think he is in that Charnamrit of Nirguna already, where he is explaining it to us for us to understand.
you're right. See, basically, ultimately, we have to understand that take us and lead us to or Nirguna Vichara. That, see, ultimately, there is a beautiful story. I've said this earlier, but it's worth repeating. So it's a funny story, something that I've more or less sort of created, but it's a funny story. So there is this time in history where Vedavyasa has finished writing the Mahabharata, and Vishnu came to Kailash to visit his brother-in-law, right? We know now, Parvati is the brother of Vishnu, right? Uh, you know that, right? Everybody knows this. Vishnu and
Yes.
are brother and sister. We know that in Meenakshi, Kalyana Sundara Rupa, you see Vishnu doing the what is it called? Kanyadanam. He is doing the Kanyadana for her, and so on and so forth. So there is another reason for that. I will explain that in some different context. But the Vishnu, so he comes to meet his brother-in-law, and both of them are sitting in the drawing room and having tea. So the husband will ask his wife, hey, look, your brother has come. Will we get some tea or coffee? So she says, I've just made decoction. I'll bring some very nice filter coffee. So she goes into the kitchen. She brings filter coffee. So while she's bringing the filter coffee, then Vishnu says, अरे कुछ बनाया नहीं है साथ में पकवान वकवान कुछ फरसान कुछ तो मिलेगा ना. So she says, okay, I'm bringing. In the meanwhile, they have a discussion. They are talking in front of her. And Vishnu says, in that, my Amsha avatar, he went down to earth in the form of Vedavyasa, and he wrote 1,000 names for me. Vishnu Sahasranama. So Shiva says, he wrote 2,000 names for me. Once Arjuna recites it, once Yudhishthira recites it, 2 times there are 1,000 names for me in Vishnu in Mahabharata. So they were having this fun with each other. And Parvati put the tea and coffee down. She put the coffee down and she just said, and she went. Now is a very difficult statement, right? Immediately, brother and husband, hey, idhar aao, ye hu kya tha? So, nahi, kuch nahi. Now we are all married people. We know kuch nahi is never an answer. So you have to come back. No, you have to explain. She kept saying, Arey Baba, kuch nahi, let it go. You carry on. You very big people, Vishnu, preserver, you destroyer. Please go ahead, carry on. Have your discussion. I'll make some modak for Ganesh. No, first you explain this. So she smiled and said, all those names and forms that you are talking about is nothing but me. Because Brahman does not have any name or form. The moment you ascribe name and form, you are talking to Prakriti. So what is Vishnu? Vishnu is nothing but a manifestation of Prakriti. When you take a particular form, when you take a particular, I had visited this is a place called Badrikashram, not Badrinath. There's a place called Badrikashram run by, in Himachal Pradesh, run by a person called Om Swami. I don't know if you all have heard of him. So
Yes.
Anyway, I keep landing up into weird places. So I landed up there, and he has installed a Srihari statue with a Garuda in front and so on and so forth. But when I first visited that place, naturally, I just sat down and started chanting Sindhura Runa Vigraham. And I chanted the full Lalita Sahasranamam. One of the sannyasis over there, he also chanted along with me. And then when Om Swami entered, I was still continuing the chant. I just finished. And then he asked me later on, in a personal satsang, he asked me, why did you chant Lalita Sahasranamam? I said, I could sense only Devi over there. I don't know, the images of Vishnu, there is a Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Hastan, Garuda and all that is there, but I could sense only Devi. So he said, while I was doing the Prana Pratishtha, I did it with Lalita as the Prana, not with Vishnu as the Prana. The form is Lalita, the form is of Vishnu, but the Prana Pratishtha that was done was with Lalita. Now, that is essentially this world. Everything in this material world is her only, because it has name, it has form, Nama Rupa. Prakriti by nature itself is Nama Rupa. So anything that is Nama, anything that is Rupa is nothing but Devi. Brahman has no name. We call it Brahman. We call it Sat Chit Ananda. These are the attributes or the qualities or its essential nature. It exists. It is conscious. It is Ananda. We could give it names. Sat, Chit, Ananda, Brahman. Our rishis ultimately, they could not find a name for it. They just called it Tat. Tat Tvamasi. You are that. Right? So therefore, this whole movement is basically the entire verse is basically it is an encoding of in terms of Sri Vidya. See, with the word Aruna is her Sringar Karuna aspect of Devi. This is the Srishti Krama. See, in Sri Vidya, there are two kramas. We worship her from outward to inward, which is called Laya Krama. And once the Laya happens, from there again the Srishti has to happen. That is called the Srishti Krama. This respects the Srishti Krama of this entire creation process. And that when she's doing it, her essential nature is of Aruna, Karuna, Tarangita. Right? So the Bindu expanding outward. The hair is the Sahasrara. Her heart that we are talking about is the Anahata. The waist, the slender waist, is where the Sushumna Nadi is going up. The nourishment of creation is coming from the bosom. So this is the Kamakala in dynamic expression. There is another word over there used as Jagatratri. She who is the savior or protector of this world. Right, in the Puranic reference, if you see, then it will be Devi Mahatmyam we will see. Devi Mahatmyam we see that she is the protector. She is the protector of this entire universe, right? Just one.
If I may ask a question.
Yes, please, go ahead.
It is more an observation. I don't know whether it's correct or not. So, in the previous slokams, we've spoken about how the Kundalini rises from the Mooladhara and goes up to the Sahasrara and then returns. Would that be this movement from Saguna to Nirguna and Nirguna back
to
Saguna?
Saguna,
Is
yes.
that
Yes, you're right. So that is the observation that we have to see. So when we start off with the Jada at the Muladhara, and then we slowly grow up into the Sahasrara, the Nirguna aspect is opened up to us. And then from that, now we operate in this world. Does this mean that the world stops existing? No, the world will continue to exist, no? But we realize it as a play. So in Advaita, we talk of the three types of reality. One is called the Vyavaharika Satta, transactional reality, right? I am having a transaction with you right now. I am teaching, you are listening, etc., etc. This is Vyavaharika Satta. There is something called the Paramarthika Satta. There is nothing, no difference between you who are listening, I who are speaking, and the words that are being spoken. There is nothing different between all the three of them. Na bhojanam bhokta, etc., etc. Right? Then the between these two, there is something called the Pratibhasika Satta. The realization that this play is nothing but a reflection, Pratibhasa, of this reality, of the ultimate reality. So that is that movement. So that is as far as verse 93 is concerned. Let us look at 94. Kalanka kasturi rajanikara bimbam jalamayam. Kalankah kasturi rajanikara bimbam jalamayam. Kalabhi karpurai marakata karandam nibiditam. Kalabhi karpurai marakata bakarandam nibiditam. Kalankah kasturi rajanikara bimbam jalamayam. Kalabhi karpurai marakata karandam nibiditam. Atastvadbhogena pratidinamidam riktakuharam. Atastvadbhogena pratidinamidam riktakuharam. Vidhirbhuyo bhuyo nibidayati nunam tava krite. Vidhirbhuyo nibidayati nunam tava krite. Atastvadbhogena pratidinamidam riktakuharam. Vidhirbhuyo nibidayati nunam tava krite. Kalankah kasturi rajanikara bimbam jalamayam. Kalabhik karpurai marakata karandam nibiditam. Atastwadbhogena pratidinamidam kiriktakuharam. Vidhirbhuyo nibidayati nunam tava krite. Word meanings. Kalanka. Kalanka here is the spot on the moon, right? We in poets have very often talked about the moon as having faults. So he's not pure. He is faulted because he has marks on his body. So kalanka here will mean the spots on the moon. So kalanka, kasturi, musk, right? That is the musk that is found in the kasturi mriga. It is the navel of the kasturi mriga generally swells up during the mating season, and he exudes a particular smell which is called kasturi. Rajanikara bimbam. The bimbam is the face of the moon. Rajanikara, the person, this shining moon disk at night. Jalamayam, pottery. Kalabhi, kala means parts. So here in this case, we will talk of the phases. Kalabhi, phases of the moon. Karpureihi, like camphor. Marakata karandam. Marakata means emerald. Karandam means basket or cup or a bowl. Marakata karandam. Nibiditam. Nibiditam means filled. Ataha, therefore, twadbhogena, by your enjoyment, pratidinam, daily, idam, this, rikta kuharam. Kuhara means cavity or hole. Rikta kuharam. So the casket, that is a bowl, it is empty, right? Rikta kuharam, rikta empty. Vidhi means here Brahma, the creator, Brahma. Bhuya means again and again. Nibidayati, refills. Noonam, surely. Tava krite, for your sake. So direct translation, the moon's dark spot is the kasturi, is the musk. The orb is filled with nectar, right? The liquid nectar. The phases of the moon are like camphor packed into the emerald basket. You consume it daily, leaving it empty. Brahma daily refills it for your enjoyment. Right? Now, again, I want somebody to see if you can try and look at this in terms of how you can interpret this. Any sort of attempt here is good.
I feel so the moons from Pratipada to Amavasya, all the kalas, I think he is mentioning that it the Bhagavati is using and the Brahma is filling up with I mean the because of that the all those either the crescent moon becoming larger and smaller is happening due to that. That's what
Okay,
I felt
that's
so.
yeah, very nice. That's one meaning that we can attribute. Any other attempt?
This constant description, like this Champaka, Shoka, Punnaga, and all these things about, the moon, the perfume. Even there is a description in Lalita about her, more than 1 million moons, what Devi is all about. There is this, I'm not able to express it in words, what I'm thinking within
So,
me.
okay.
There's something which is.
Okay. So here is Lalita Sahasranamam says Chandra Mandala Madhyaga, right?
Mandala Madhyaga.
Chandra Mandala Madhyaga. So when is she looking clearly as she is in the center of the Chandra Mandala? When we say Chandra Mandala, means what? Mandala means orbit. One meaning
Yes.
of orbit. Another meaning could be the group of things that are around the Chandra Mandala. What are the group of things? There are 16 Kala Devis. Now, these are not the Nitya Devis. Nitya Devis are different, Kala Devis are different. You have to understand. They are both 16 in number, right? So we should not get confused. The Kala Devis are, the Nitya Devis are Bhagamalini, Nityaklinna, etc., etc. Bherunda, all these are different names. The Kala Devis, they are Amrita, Manada, Pusha, Tushti, Pushti, Rati, Dhriti, Sashini, Chandrika, Kanti, Jyotsna, Shri, Preeti, Angada, Purna. These are 15. And the 16th one, she is invisible over there. Purnamrita. Purnamrita. Why 16? So, 16, why 16? Because there are 16 kalas. If you count from Pratipada to Amavasya, 15, right? Plus Paurnami, 16. At Paurnami, Purnamrita, she is fully manifest, right? So we say Chandramandala Madhyaga. So when in Chandramandala Madhyaga, she is in opposition to the sun. Obviously, you can understand that. That is why the full moon we can see and we can see the reflection completely. During Amavasya, what happens? She is in conjunction with the sun. We are only seeing the dark side, right? We are seeing the dark side. So then another name in Lalita Sundari in Sahasranama, Bhanu Mandala Madhyastha. Right? See the difference in names. Chandra Mandala Madhyaga. She moves. Madhyaga. Ga from Gati. Ga from Gamana. Right? She moves. But where is she situated? In the Bhanu Mandala Madhyastha.
Bhanu Mandala Madhyastha.
She is situated inside the sun. Now, what is this? Inside the sun means what? The sun is nothing but the glow of knowledge that comes from Brahman, Shiva. She and Shiva are nothing but the same. And that is what he says here. And that is why in verse number 9, in shloka number, in name number 999, what does we say? Shiva Shakya Aikya Rupini. Right? Remember that? Lalita Sahasranam. Shiva Shakya Aikya Rupini is what we say. She and Shiva are nothing but the same. That is what he is saying here. So,
all this talk about this perfumed whatever is happening is because of this Shiva and Shakti being the same, which is
and their play
permeating
and
this whole
play.
Universe.
Correct. And therefore, since we can't describe it, therefore, in Kathopanishad, beautifully, Yamadharmaraj says, Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kuto yamagnehi tameva bhantu anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. What are you saying? Na tatra suryo bhati. The sun cannot shine there. The chandra tarakam. The moon cannot shine there. The stars cannot shine there. The vidyuta cannot shine there. This karpura arti that I am showing you, this is nothing. Tameva bhanta anubhati sarvam. It is your glow that permeates, and because of which tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Everything that I am seeing is because of your glory, because of the light that comes from you. In your presence alone, by your light alone, these are lighted. She is with Shiva in the new moon day. She is Shiva on the full moon day. Shakti is not a separate entity. So
From Amavasya to Paurnami, it is the same thing.
So therefore, in some parts of Sri Vidya Upasana, there are some parts which Sri Vidya Upasana, there are multiple schools. Each Acharya has their own school and so on and so forth. And there are some schools of Sri Vidya Upasana where they say that from the Paurnami, in the Krishna Paksha, you worship her externally. You practice the external worship. So therefore, you do the puja, you do the archana, you do the upasana, you do the mantra sadhana, etc., etc. And then on the day of Amavasya, you shift to completely internal worship for the next 15 days. No worship externally. Now, obviously, if you have taken on... Yes,
there was
Sitaji first.
I think
Sitaji
that
first,
the voice broke in between. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that you had just mentioned right now for this Vasanta Navratri that we should look inwards for her. Is that have anything to do with it?
The
And
same,
second thing I wanted to
yes.
mention, this looks like for me, when I look at Marakatha Karandam, so it is very dark and which is filling and emptying. Is it again the movement of the Saguna Nirguna, or the rise of the Kundalini and Devi coming down from the Sahasrara? Is that also being represented here?
Here it is representing the upward flow again from Amavasya to Purnimi. So this is so 93, 94 are actually interchangeable. They are interchangeable. The movement of the Kundalini going up and going down continuously in our body through the energies of Devi. So therefore, see, she unites with Shiva and she goes back to her royal court as Rajarajachita. Right? We see that name in Lalita Sahasranama. We see Rajarajeshwari as fully energized. The source of energy, where is it coming from? From Shiva. And I have used the iconography of Kali to explain this. Kali is the eternal dance of time. She is the eternal dance of time. Her four hands, they are all playing, they are dancing. Right? She is creating. That is why her tongue is outside. Her tongue is outside. But when you go to Smashana Kali, if you see the form of Smashana Kali, you will see she is not standing on Shiva. She has only two hands. And her tongue is not outside. She has withdrawn. That is why she is called Smashana Kali. But when she is Dakshina Kali, when she is there standing, her foot is on Shiva. So Shiva is typically portrayed as colorless, but since we cannot portray colorless, we put white color. So if you go to Bengal during Kali Puja, you will find that Shiva is portrayed as white in color, Kali is portrayed as dark blue or black in color, and she will be dancing on with her one foot on Shiva. Not because she is ashamed. Right? The story is, oh, she felt ashamed that she has put her leg on Shiva, and therefore she put out her tongue. Nothing of that sort. Why should Devi be ashamed? Right. So Shiva, on the background of Shiva, on the background of the of consciousness, Prakriti can play. That is what this particular verse is talking about. See, we have to understand that in Lalita Sahasranam also, it very clearly says that she has to be worshipped very clearly. Pratipan Mukhya Rakanta Titi Mandala Pujita. Right? Pratipan means the first day. Raka means full moon. During this period, with the waxing moon, right? She has to be worshipped through these tithis. How is she to be worshipped? internally, externally, and so on and so forth. Again, it depends upon the particular school of Sri Vidya that you are following. But essentially, is talking about the fact that she is nothing but a representation of Shiva's consciousness manifested in this universe through everything. Are we okay, or should we carry on? Any other questions? Okay, let us start with the next one that I wanted to share with you. It's a very interesting one. So actually, Priyaji asked me recently, she sent me a list of some 51 Shakti Pithas and said, is this an authentic list? Now, firstly, let us first know the story of Shakti Pithas. So how did Shakti Pithas happen? So the Puranic story is very simple. The Puranic story itself also, however, each of the Puranas, there are small differences. In some of the Puranas, Sati jumps into the fire that has been created in the Daksha Yajna. Anybody knows where was Daksha Yajna conducted? Where, in which place was Daksha Yajna conducted?
It was in Uttarakhand.
Everything happened in Uttarakhand. That's a very safe answer.
I was also about to say Uttarakhand Dev Bhumi only, and I'm trying to think where exactly. I think we went there.
Yes,
during
Priya,
our...
we went there.
Yes,
I took you there.
Yes, correct. But I also remember where that, there was that
Yeah, Anna, we saw
Narayana.
that temple. Yeah.
That
There they
temple.
show the Yajna Kunda where the Daksha
Yajna
Yajna
Kunda,
happened.
that's Trijun.
It's
No,
called,
that's what?
No, not that was Trijugi Narayan. This was in
Narayan.
No. That is where the marriage happened. This is
Haridwar.
yes,
It is near
Haridwar.
Haridwar. Yeah.
That Shiva temple is there.
Kankhal.
Ah.
Kankhal. So Kankhal, and very next to that particular place where there is the Yajna Kunda, there is Atmata Anandamayima's ashram. Anandamayima conducted a Atirudram over there. She conducted an Atirudram, and when she was asked, why suddenly have you decided to conduct an Atirudram here? She went into a trance and said that earlier I stopped the yajna here. Now it is time for me to complete it. So therefore, when Daksha was doing the yajna, Shiva was not invited. She did the yajna only for Shiva, Atirudram. And Atirudram means what? It means the chanting of the Rudram by 121 Purohits 11 times a day for 11 days. So you can imagine the number of chants of Atirudram that happened at that particular place by Anandamayima. And she sat in that place continuously in a complete trance in the form of the Divine Mother herself. She was believed to be an incarnation. So that is the first. The second is the story that so let us say that Sati gave up her body at that particular point. Either she jumped into the fire, or she invoked yogic Agni and removed her prana Shakti from the body. The body, however, did not burn. The body did not immolate. So when Veerabhadra manifested, he cut off the head of Daksha, the yajna was destroyed. Shiva himself came and he took on that body of Devi and he started moving around. And because of that, there was a disbalance in the entire way the cosmos worked. The job of preservation is always given to Vishnu. So Vishnu used his Sudarshan Chakra and broke up that body into various parts. Wherever that part fell, Shiva went there directly to make sure that that particular place would be worshipped, and he left his own imprint over there as a Bhairava, as a protector of that Devi over there. So in each of the 51 temples, there are 51 Bhairavas also. And it is believed that if you go to a particular Shaktipita, if you don't visit the Bhairava, then the Shaktipita visit is not completed. It is not said to be complete. So that is the first. Now, multiple, where do we find the reference of these 51 specific places? Lot of the Agamas or the Nigamas, they give the references. Right? What is the difference between Agama and Nigama? Agama is where Shiva is talking to Parvati. Shiva is teaching Parvati. So normally Parvati would ask, right? Parvati uvacha keno payane lagunam Vishnor nama sahasrakam patite pandite nityam stotrumicchamaham prabho Sri Ishvara uvacha, and then Ishvara tells. This is a agama. The reverse, when Shiva becomes the student and asks Prakriti, it is called nigama. Right? Various agamas and nigamas, there are descriptions. None of them are 100% matching. Some of them are very similar. Some names will be different in various places. Bhagavad Shankaracharya, he created an Ashtadasha Shakti Pita Stotram. These are 18 which are common to all lists across. However, what I have chosen for you for study is from a Nigama called Tantra Chudamani. It's a beautiful text. We will study that text at some point of time somewhere. But Tantra Chudamani is a text where we see the text starting. So Devya Uvacha. So before that, sorry. Ishvara Uvacha. Mata Parat Pare Devi Sarva Jnanamaishwari Katyatam Me Sarva Pita Shakti Bhairava Devataha. So please, oh Divine Mother, oh Supreme Consciousness, oh Supreme Mother, tell me, Pravakshami, tell me properly, out of your mercy, for me who I am your devotee, right? For me who are your devotee, you who are knowledge personified, Sarva Jnana Maishwari, you are Ishwari, you are the Lord of this entire world. Katyatam me, please tell me, Sarva Pita Shakti Bhairava Devataha. Please tell me of all the Pitas with their Shaktis and their Devatas. So Devi Uvacha, Shrinu Vatsa Pravakshami. Shrinu, listen, Vatsa, child. Devi is addressing Vishwara as child because here he is the student. Shrinu Vatsa Pravakshami, Dayala, Bhaktavatsala. So you yourself are a very, very compassionate towards your devotees, and therefore you have asked this question. Yabhir vinana siddhyanti japa sadhana satkriyaha. Without visiting these places, without knowing about these places, without understanding about these places, no japa, no sadhana, no satkriya can become successful. Panchadasheka pithani. Panchadasha is 50. Panchadasha deka means 51. Panchadasha deka pithani. Evam Bhairava Devataha. And also there. So listen to the Shakti Pith, 51 Shakti Pithas and their Bhairava Devatas. Anga Pratyanga Patena. Anga Pratyanga. All the parts and the accessory parts. Patena. Having fallen Vishnu Chakra Kshatena cha. By the chakra of Vishnu, these parts fell in various places. That is what she is saying. Okay. Now, she gives the first one that we will talk about today. Mamadya vapusho deva hitaya tvai kathyate. So she says, now listen to this for your benefit. Brahmarandra hingulayam bhairavo bhima lochanaha. In Hingula, my Brahmarandra fell. The Bhairava over there is called Bhima Lochana. Where is Hingula? Anybody knows?
Somewhere in Himachal Pradesh, no?
No.
Or Kashmir.
No.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
So, it is about 250 20 kilometers from Karachi to the west in Baluchistan. Obviously, that is one place I have not been myself, but it's a very famous Shakti Pitha. So, what is the story of the Pitha over there? There are multiple stories. What fell over there is very clear, right? She's saying that my Brahmarandra, that the top part of the skull that has fallen over there. Devi over there is called Kottari. She is called Kottari, right? Devi over there is called Kottari. Her Bhairava over there is called Bhima Lochana. Bhima Lochana means large-eyed or terrible-eyed. One of the two. Any meaning can be have, or we can look at it. The place is, the modern location we know is Hinglaj in Pakistan. Hinglaj. So there was a movie, very beautiful movie in Bengali, long back, 1931-32. Marutirtha Hinglaj. So you have to actually walk through. Earlier, nowadays, there is a beautiful coastal roadway and all that. A few years back, they were allowing people from India to go, and you have to officially apply, and you have to form a group of at least 100 people. And only then they would give a group visa, and then you could go there. I missed that opportunity, but people went and then they came back, and they actually talked about this very beautifully. And there are en route, there is a it's a cave, and there is a river over there, and on the river, at the bank of the river, there is a cave, and inside the cave there is a multiplicity of caves. It's a complex of caves. One of the caves, there is a red stone, and that red stone is believed to be Devi. The en route, there is a mud volcano, a volcano which has a crater from which mud comes out, not lava. Mud comes coming out. So people go and worship there as and they make rotis and dal and stuff like that, and they put it in that crater as a as a part of their journey. There are multiple water kundas over there. One of the water kundas, apparently there is a very beautiful thing that they do. They take black till and they keep rubbing the black till in the water till the black till become white. The black skin goes away and the black till becomes white. And this is symbolic of the purification of the body and the soul. So Atma Shuddhi. And then they take a bath in that, and that water of that kunda is supposed to have a lot of till oil. So your skin disease is also supposed to go away over there. It's a hot spring. So that is about Hinglaj. So that is the first in Tantra Chudamani. The first description that we see is of Hinglaj, Marutirtha Hinglaj. There is a story of the local story. Sthala Purana says that Ram visited this place in all his glory after having come back to Ayodhya. Then the local Purohits told him that you have to do purification. So as a purification, they said you have to go to Hinglaj, you have to go to Kottari Devi, and to go to Hingula and do your expiatory rites. So he went with Lakshman, Hanuman, Sugriv, Sita, everybody went, the full army. And when they were reaching that particular point, there is a point over there which is called Rambagh. And at that point, Devi's army was standing over there, not allowing them to cross. They started fighting with Devi's army. Devi's army routed Ram's army. So then Ram himself is the Devi worshipper. So he then worshipped Devi again. So Devi then appeared and said, you cannot approach me as a king. You have to approach me as a beggar. In this world, only I am the queen. Everybody else is a beggar. Everybody else. So therefore, he said, okay. So he removed his shoes and he took Sita alone, and both he and Sita walked there. And then at one point, Sita was very thirsty. So she put her hand on the ground and prayed to the mother, saying that I'm very thirsty. So 5 kundas came up. So those are called Sita Kund. And such things are all over in that place. Let us see if we can, sometime I'm looking from that time on. So I've been looking, they have not opened it again. India-Pakistan relationships are not good enough for us to have a Tirtha Yatra in Pakistan. This is around 200 kilometers from Karachi. So you have to fly to Karachi, take a bus journey up to this place called Hingulaj or Hinglaj. And then you can do your worships and come back. It's a 5-day overall trip. But let's see if it works out. We'll see. What do you attain over there? This particular Tirthasthan is supposed to be for your primordial Shakti awakening. So, in most places, they say that when you want to start off on your Shakti sadhana, where then Hingula is the place to worship and start, because she allows the awakening to start, the process of awakening to start. Now, obviously, if we cannot worship her over there, where do we go? So, in a place in Kutch, there is a temple called Kottarishwari. It's a created place. Men have created that, and people go there as a substitute to worship her over there. Another interesting story with Parshuram with Hingula is also there. The locals over there, a lot of the people from that Baluchistan, the Hindus of Baluchistan and that area, they have Hingula, Kotari Devi as their Kula Devi. And they are supposed to be what is called Brahma Khatri. I don't know if you have ever found that surname called Khatri in North India. If you've seen that name Khatri, they are basically Kshatriyas, obviously, but they are specific to that particular part of Balochistan. And they are supposed to be descendants of a group of 12 Kshatriyas who were being chased by Parashuram. They went to this place, and one Rishi over there, I've forgotten the name of the Rishi, he then made them Brahmins. So they started behaving like Brahmins. So Parashuram came there and he got defeated, tricked, and he said, okay, I will not kill them. But because they became like that, so they are Brahma Khatris. So they are neither Brahmins nor Kshatriyas, they are somewhere in between, and they do not use weapons. And so they are actually forbidden in their traditional things. They are forbidden from even using knives. So they do not cut vegetables and stuff like that. They have to get somebody to cut vegetables for them. In the traditional Khatri houses, they would have somebody from some other caste coming in to cut their vegetables so that they could cook, because they are not allowed to touch a knife. So these are all stories around Mata Hingula. So that is the story for Hinglaj. So next time we will do two more. We will talk about Karavira and we will talk about Sugandha. So we will see two more places in the next session. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.